Well, we're together again, and do we see prophecy of the scripture fulfilling? Man, everybody's writing me from everywhere, and everybody I run into, everybody at the church say, no, God is on the move. This is the 10th, October 10th, the 9th. It's the 10th month, the 9th, 2002. You got 10, something's just completed. 9 means more judgment because the other's over with. 2002. And this name of this sermon is The Bad and the Beautiful. I'll tell you what. You know, here's the eye of the storm. This year, and the hurricanes were different than any they ever seen, and I predicted the winds would be different, everything would be different. And in the eye of the storm, that Lily went up through there, 2 of them up towards New Orleans and the coastline. They never had them act up like they acted up. They took the Caribbeans in and up through there, destructive winds. Our winds are going to pick up too, and tornadoes and things that happen. They've never seen such strange weather as they ever, never. Over here where we're at, we've never seen the weather that we're facing. In fact, they're running out of water. Everything is, it seems everywhere, judgment is falling there. I might say this, that I predicted 30 years ago. Right now, with the sunspots moving in together, merging into one to the other, after 12-year cycle or 11-year cycle. But what I've written was this, and watch this close. The hurricane season is winding down some ways, and still there'll be strange weather up in the northeast too. There's no telling us what's going to happen, but our winters will be colder, Arctic blast. Our summers will be probably hotter. We'll have heat waves, and then it'll be all mixed up. We're going to have some more mudslides. We're going to have some more droughts. A fourth of the earth right now is starving. More than a fourth, about 40% is under food shortage. They're under droughts. They're under famine, and the rest is being flooded. And every which way you look, you're going to find it. Superquakes will come, tidal waves, and all of this. We can't get out of it. So right now, you're going to find out the Arctic blast and the summers are going to be hot, and the whole thing. And then they'll merge together, and it's going to be what you call erratic in every way is known to us. But God has given us beforehand. I wrote 30 years ago. And so the tornado's been going up on the Gulf side, running the water all the way up in through there, and so it's become a big deal. But then will come, what I just told you, some real prophecy right there, and weather will never be the same again. It'll grow worse until finally the tilt of the axis of the earth. A new ice age, they say, coming on the next one here. Well, when we have atomic war, it will come, saith the Lord. You will have one. And when it comes, they'll have a shield over the earth. It'll be an atomic shield until God wipes it away. And this earth is going to go through. They can't plant. They can't do anything. And to come, we'll have some set off, even probably before great atomic small ones, they'll be set off. So we're moving towards a warming age, yet it's going to produce heat and ice, and it's going to be tremendous. And then the next one, doomsday science, asteroids, they can't keep up with them, and it'll come out of nowhere. And when it does, they better not fool with it, because it'll make it worse. And they'll wipe out about a third or more shipping yards. But it's coming, doomsday science. But at the same time, all of this is going on. We're in peerless times. Paul said, at the end of the age, I'll talk about that in just a minute. But right now, with the asteroids coming, we're going to have some hit before the big ones in Revelations 8 hit. We're going to have them hitting here and there. They're already finding out by satellite. They're booming here in the ocean. It's causing some of the destructive waves. They're booming out in the deserts. They're booming, set a fire on field up towards Las Vegas. They set one down towards, I don't know, one island down in there, like it tore it up in there. They're seeing them from satellite, hitting and hitting. And so while the devil's doing his dirty work, God is gathering his children together, and he's getting them in the right place. Now, he said he'd go out in the highways and hedges and so forth like that. He has got it fixed up. Look, he says, say ye not that there's 4 months into harvest. So we can't start putting a short time limit on it. We've got to put an urgency on it. We can't put a long term. He won't allow us. There is no long term. Now over here, time, the apocalypse, and why more people are reading the Bible than ever before about a heaven and a hell. People are stirred up. This is a time we didn't get to a while back. People are disturbed in one way, and the other way, they're getting in false religion. The whole world will be taken over. Finally, the apocalypse, the whole thing, will be a worldwide church and everything. Right now, they've got the President Bush. I feel sorry in one way. He's been pushed in a dictatorial position, and they're getting the land all bought out by land this and that, and it said that he'll divide up the land, the Antichrist, when he does come. He's not far off, and he'll give to whomsoever he will. And people are mortgaged up, all their mortgaged 3 or 4 times, and when it's all over with, they're doing better in Arizona, but all these other states, there's 8, 9, maybe 10 million people or more, they're hiding. that is really out of work. And if you didn't have the people from outside coming in on the social, where we give them the welfare and so forth, there'd be more than that. But just look, I'm telling you, we're going to have asteroids and all of this. But I meant to say more. Our weather patterns, the way they're changing, peerless times. Now in the apocalypse, Apostle Paul said, know this also, in the latter times, he said, will come heady, high-minded. He said, there will be, without natural affection, he said, there will be, in that age, they will be unthankful, they'll be unholy. It said down through the thing as he was writing down through there. So you get heady, high-minded, you get unthankful, unholy. Every way that you look, he said, would be in a peerless times. Know this also, in the latter times. The great Apostle Paul is telling us now of the very period that we're in. And so we see it. They don't have no natural affection. They don't care for anybody. If you get in their way, they'll shoot you. And just lately, we run into a sniper I'll talk about in a moment. So we must move along. Now we're in peerless times, but listen to me right here. God has poured out his Spirit. And James chapter 5, where it said that he's waiting for the latter rain. And then it said that when the latter rain comes, then the Lord will, the Lord draweth nigh. And then it showed the front about the rich man up there, and they couldn't even touch it for atomic radiation. But it said 3 times, have patience therefore, brethren, have patience therefore, brethren, because we will be in an age. And Paul put us, I just read, in the very area that we're in. Jesus put us there in that area when he said in Luke 25, look up, you'll see signs in the heavens and the earth, and upon the earth perplexity. And he said, not knowing which way to turn. We're right there. That's the age we're in right now. So they're prophesying the very last part of this generation that we're here. Now, you will be given understanding, more knowledge, and more power than ever before. But you will be tested. You'll be tested on every side. But God will put a wall up, and Satan can't get through it. So listen to me. The Lord saith, I shall be with thee as never before. I shall walk with thee. I shall be with thee. Through anything that you go through, the Lord will be there. So we see the apocalypse is even in big magazines. They get my literature. People, I've got small paper, they just run them off, run them up there. And not only that, but Time Warner and everything else. And I warn about that witchcraft and stuff. Now look up the top here as we come up here. Popular Mechanics, tiny nukes. America's cornerstone, they can take a tiny thing and blow up anything. Well, some of the other countries got tiny things too. And when they get through putting a few in a city, they can blow up a whole city. We're living in the most dangerous times, and yet the name of this sermon is The Bad and the Beautiful. We're going to show some nature, and God's going to bless your heart and build your faith. But there it is right there, tiny nukes. If it gets in the wrong hand, it's going to be over with. They're going to have everything. There'll be some going off, and it'll be uprooted and all that. In Western Europe right now, the revived Roman Empire is riding in there, and they're changing economics. We will have a change in economics again. It'll be, I told them months ago when this next revival happened, started in '99, I told the people, I said, they're not going to get out of this easy, and it will take them from right now a little while. But God will make a way. It hadn't hit Arizona because so many people are coming in here, retiring, and so forth like that. But every one of you, I'm praying for you with all of my heart. Remember, this whole earth is being covered by Satan. There is a snare. Our president has got in a snare. He can't get out of the cage. He's either got to go up to Saddam Hussein and set loose a biological warfare, even maybe a halfway atomic, but he's got to go up or he's got to back off. But nevertheless, there's going to be a great turmoil in there. We see it right now. And so you remember the prophecies from the weather I'm telling you about. We're going to have the greatest floods, and the greatest mudslides, and all of that, and the sea caving in, and some coming over their bounds, and the great cities, volcanic eruptions. All of that's happened as I told you about. We're going to see some things take place that tears up our cities and her tornadoes and stuff. You watch. The wind and the weather is going to come in such a way. We're in the eye of the storm. God will remove us, and it's going to crash over America in a catastrophic way. So then, look, now there's evil, the woman. They're putting out the videos, and that's what, we've got snipers now shooting them one by one. He put a tarot card out, and he said in the tarot card, kill, murder, kill. And he had a tarot card, and he said death, death, death. And look at that. This is in the magazines for them to look at. It's in our medium. It's in Hollywood. It's in motion pictures. It's in the type of new videos they got. Kill, 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 shoot one another, kill one another. And I'm trying to warn the children, stay out of the least little old thing. Even Harry Potter, stay out of all of that. And they know how he come A witch wrote that thing way back there before he was ever heard of, and they got the recapture of that. It told it on Paul Harvey of where it come from. And look right here. Then here's a table of doom, a cult that they've got here. You can see anything there that you want to see. Now there's a religious occult that will blend into Great Babylon. It'll blend in. He can blend in with anything and everything. And as they all get stirred up, they'll only meet for a moment, and then sudden destruction will come upon them. There is. The Antichrist is alive right now. He's underneath all of this, the lawlessness, all this together. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2:4, he's involved clear up to 9 there. But God will just take his breath and blow him back. We're living in peerless, very peerless times, Paul said. Unholy, unthankful, disregard for law and order, everything, rebellion. It's all in there in that chapter. He said some should depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing doctrines of devils. They would depart right from the Pentecostal faith into seducing devils and doctrines in Timothy. He said itching ears for every kind of a doctrine but God. He said fables, turning them into just a myth and fables, and that's what's happening. And so, and they think, you know, because a few of the Pentecostals got in trouble, that it's all garbage and all that. But the thing is, the real thing, because one, two bad apples in the barrel don't mean nothing. But I'll tell you, Dr. Dobson, I believe it was talking, and I did agree, I happened to hear it. He said, you know, along with half a billion other Christians, and I said, that's about all it's going to get out of here, and $500 million out of 6 billion, and he hit it right on the barrel, and he's on 4,000 different radio stations. He's known for that, but all over the world. I think he get 250,000 different letters. Of course, he's different than us. He's hooked to everything else. But he had to be modernistic-like, but yet he doubted if there was 500 million all over the earth that were Christians that should be solid in the Word. Keep that in your heart. And there was 8 got in the ark. There was 3 that got out of Sodom. Oh, my God. Another one started out but couldn't get out. Salt fell upon her. You're really getting a message, boy, secrets and secrets. And I'll give you some more. That when we opened this thing up in October, and that was the 10th month, the 9, 202, one settling off and another judgment's coming. It's on there in the numericals this time. And God is showing us that. At the end, look at this. They've got out every kind of a T-shirt thing that they can do. I'll tell you, in this earth that we live in, there's all kinds of pseudo signs, hoaxes, and then the real thing. There's hoax lights and hoax circles, but yet they're the real ones, and they're the false ones. You have to divide. Right now, understanding and knowledge and wisdom is coming to the people that hear my voice. You will become far richer in knowledge, and you will know. You won't. I won't use the word smart, but you'll be intelligent in the Word of God, and He will give you more anointing. God is going to take care of His people. They will be like Elijah. They can even stand alone with God. It's coming. Listen to me. I'm planting it in your heart right now. I've asked God to seal it into your soul. I asked all your pains and all of it to come out. And Satan, you get your rear end and get on down the highway. I'm sick and tired of you beating up on God's people. And I rebuke you, Satan, and you're going to go pretty soon in a bottomless pit. You ain't never going to get out of it until God lets you out of there. And then He's going to throw you in the lake of fire where the beast false prophet was 1,000 years ago. You read that in chapter 19. You know, I was reading along 9/11 in Revelations, and 9/11 goes into where the fallen angels, Abaddon and Apollyon, went in there, and a fourth of the earth. There's 9/11 like happened up in New York. And then I reached over to 16, 9/11, darkness of the king come in. 9/11 reached over and write these words, they're true and faithful. In chapter 19, you'll get that. It runs right across. That 9/11 was done on purpose from God. When those 2 buildings fell down by the towers, and it went down, Babylon, it just went down. They're going to rebuild in there, and they're going to come back with a worldwide situation that it's going to be an icon nearly. They better get off of that thing. Now, you see the end of that? We've got it. Now, you've got many secrets. Don't just keep your eyes and your ears open. I'll tell you about several things that are happening, and we're going to go some beautiful pictures. God bless your heart. I'll be right back. We're out of the bad and the beautiful. We got to hold some mysterious pictures shot by nature, actual facts. These were shot by camera. And just look at it. As God can show you, look down that road. You can see where the fall's been. You can see right down there a masterpiece. Then you can see where winter's beginning to set in. And there He goes down through there. He's showing us one season, leading into the other season, fog in the background, going on out. What a beautiful shot. I've prayed over these pictures, and God will anoint your eyes, and you can get healed by looking at them. Power of God's everywhere. And I'll tell you, boy, we're in a time that this is a rest. The Lord said, you'll rest with this. There's peace in it. There's power and peace, and there's tranquility. God is great. You know, if you get along with God, it's like when we get into this, you're getting out of some of this calamity and all the things that's going on. This planet that we're living on is going through one of the greatest changes. I said before, 20, 30 years ago, at the turn of the century, we'll cross over the firestorm, and everything will change. Never will it be again like it is. The planet is shaking. It's about ready to fall apart later on. They'll try to bring it together, but it won't last. It'll blow up again, and so break apart. Everything, the family altar and all that, it seems like falling apart. But God's true children, now they're going to hold on to the message. They're going to stay with God is one. He has 3 manifestations, but he goes right back in to the very root. He is the root and the offspring. You can't get ahead of him. The next picture we see is beautiful fall coming. All of them, as you look at them, are very mysterious. As you see every one of these pictures, I want you to look at them because you'll never find it again. They've got power, and they've all been taken. You know, I'll tell you a little story about, I think Paul Harvey bought it. There was a little girl, and she was paralyzed. She had rheumatoid. She had arthritis. They had to carry her wherever that she went, and she couldn't move, to the bathroom, to everywhere. One day a man came by and said, let me try to help you and work in the pool just a little bit. And so she said, okay. She was 8 years old, and it's a great miracle. They call it a miracle. So she did a little bit in there, and that night she was so tired. When they carried her back in, she didn't, you know, you can't get healed one day. They carried her back in, and they put her in bed. She woke up in a vision. She saw the crucifixion of Christ. She saw him on the cross. She saw the 3 crosses, and then as she was there, the Lord come to her in a vision, and the Lord looked at her, and she looked at the Lord, and the Lord told her, he said, walk. And she didn't understand. She said, walk. He said, walk. And she got to see that, and the Lord spoke to her, and then the vision left her. But she got to see the crucifixion and the Lord telling her to walk. Well, the next day she woke up. She could move differently. She could move separately. She told the fella, something happened to me, and God appeared to me, and it's a miracle. And Paul Harvey had it on there, and he could probably send you the full thing. I don't know if they sent them out. And it's the rest of the story, I believe is what it was. It was a beautiful story, the miracle of an 8-year-old girl. And she got to where she could walk, and she come out of it. Because of vision, she said, Christ is real. He is the Lord God of all of us. And she was supposed to testify and tell everybody. Now, as we move on down, we're on another picture here. It's really great. You know, you have the hoax, you have the real thing. God's power, how magnificent. And the Lord's fixing to pour out understanding and divine love. We've not seen it like we should. He's beginning to give divine love through all these crises. Those that really mean business will be given divine love, which we've not seen. I wrote something about it. You'll be getting something about it. God is love, John said. He is the Word. He is love. He is divine love. We're going to get divine love to where we unite together and we stick together all over the earth. We'll be as one mind nearly, yet we may not know one another, but God knows. And when we get there, we'll all go up together in a moment, a twinkling of an eye. And the celestial, man, what signs out there. I can see everything up to just about the end that God showed us in Maseroth. The whole world is in a snare. Our president's in a snare. He's on dangerous grounds. Anything can happen. Listen to me. Anything can happen to this, and it will. We're in an electronic age. We're all blended together. They're coming together like the Tower of Babel, and then he's going to blow everything apart. Now look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm talking fast because I don't have much time. Look at the scenes there. Isn't that beautiful? Those shots are supernatural. We'll go down to the second one from the end, and it's purple and it's blue. Look at that. As God's Spirit is good. You know, you never see anything like it. And then they had the offset. They don't know what happened, but on the table come a hand and let fire was on it. And they want to know if it's true. Then on the habits of the nuns, the fire would appear. And then the fire would appear on something else. And they didn't know what it was. But when I put it together, he gives this story about, but you can speak for yourself. And then the fire appeared finally on something like that was in one of the nuns' places in there. and it had a hand of fire that was on there, and people come to see it, but it's not right. It didn't match God's Word. So you see all kinds of things rising and falling, but God's true. You see true lights, you see false lights. You see true crop circles, you see false ones. You see a true man of God and false. The Apostle Paul said, if even an angel comes speaking any other gospel than I give you, let him be accursed. Paul had the nerve. They couldn't do anything to him. He was a Greek and a Roman citizen. They couldn't touch him. He had to go to Rome. God wanted him to die, and the gospel spread all over. Look at this last one down here that you see. They asked Peter Jennings, said, if a man died, what biography would you like to read? And he said, well, that's easy. He said, I was doing something about Jesus. And he said, I started reading Apostle Paul. He said, that would be the one. Oh, I'd like to ask him about Damascus on the road. He said, I'd like to ask him what happened. Not that Peter's a Christian. He said the biography would be Apostle Paul. He even skipped Jesus, which he shouldn't have. And they asked him that over Larry King's program. If they want a copy, maybe you can get it from me. I don't know. And he said, if he went all the way up to Rome, and the gospel would not spread to Western civilization, and he did it. But that's the one he chose. He said, I'd like to see what he was. They call him lunacy, they call him this, they call him that. But Paul said that he was the one that he would like to read the biography. Peter Jennings, ABC News. Now up at the top here. Oh, here's a mysterious one at the bottom. They don't know what happened here. It glowed in the rocks. It come up through there supernatural. It is fantastic. Man, look at this. Jesus implant the power and the faith that I feel in my heart as much as each of those in the audience can unite. All of you unite together and let it come down like fire on the day of Pentecost. Man, that thing shook in there, boy. Acts 2:4 and all this happened in there. Just wait. The wind will blow God's power all over you. Every one of you right in there. Lord, keep them. We're going to go through horrific, tremendous, peerless, and beautiful times for his children. You're there, Lord. And boy, have patience, have patience. We're living in a hectic age. Watch where you're driving, watch what you're doing, because the devil is turned loose. Man, he's almost down on earth. It won't be long until he puts his foot down, and the elect are going to be gone. Look at up here. Oh, the fog in the back in the lake. Look at that. Just a beautiful pictures. My Lord, let the faith like Job said, although God slay me, I will trust him. I shall see him, my Redeemer. In this flesh I shall see him. Look at the magnificent autumn. We're going to change like those trees, and we're going to come back with a glorified body. And I mean, God is going to do it soon. And man, they're going to walk among us, and we're going to be taken out. Isn't he beautiful? It's wonderful. We got a God of gods. He is a great. It didn't say Godheads. It said Godhead. And man, I'll tell you, divine love is coming like we've never seen. And knowledge will drop like water. And knowledge, one word, will reveal to me a whole sermon. I've had it all the time, but you people will get it. And it'll drop, and it'll come like it wants to. And all of a sudden, a word of knowledge come, and I done this. Now, look at the icy winter. As you look across there, see it's fading from one season to another. There are 4 seasons, and God's got them. 4 winds, 4 this, 4 rivers out of Eden. I'll tell you, God's a world number. We're living in the latter times. How great our God is, and he's got true stories. Great miraculous things are taking place. Some places he's creating things. Even my ministry, he's had things created. I'll tell you a little story, if I can get it in here. We'll come back and I'll tell it. We're going to put up some more pictures in just a moment. I was going to tell you. Now I have 100, maybe 1,000 different cases of different sorts. But what it's going to just drop in my mind is when I was in California, is up towards San Francisco, back towards San Jose, somewhere up in there, Santa Rosa somewhere. They brought it in the fairgrounds. I was in the fairgrounds, and they brought it to me. Look at that beautiful reflection, the autumn. You can see it on there. He's going to go through the pictures. I'll come back and explain them in a minute. As he goes through all that he wants to go through, then we'll come back. You people, your faith should go stronger. This didn't happen just once. I had a blue light photographed in motion picture. They got it in California too. That thing was moving from one miracle to the other. But this happened. I was up in the fairgrounds in Northern California. And I remember this out of other cases, happens in similarity, but different people. And the woman sat out there, and the little boy had braces on. He couldn't walk. Here were the braces. And so one night I was praying for the sick, and the little boy was telling his mother something. he wanted to get in the line. So she put him in the line, and they come up on the platform, and I seen him coming, and I told her, I said, I'm going to pray now. I said, you can take those off if you want to, it's up to you, but I'm going to pray, and that boy's going to feel something. And so I prayed, and the little boy tried to do it himself. And I said, boy, that little boy, he says he couldn't have been over 8 or 9 years old, 7, 8 years old. And she got them things off, and he started taking the first step, second. She said, oh, hallelujah. She tried to hug me, and everybody around me said, I've never seen such a miracle. What happened? What happened? And so she said, God. And then, you know, we stayed there a little bit and let the miracle be seen. I had to get back to the rest of the healing. She went off the platform. The people were agag. They didn't know what to do. And it's awesome miracles. And so then she sat down in there, and the very next night, she come up there, and I saw her coming with him. He was walking. Everybody saw him. And she said, Brother Frisbee, I've got to tell him how it happened. So she was sitting down there and said, Mama, behind Brother Frisbee, there is a person, and he's glittering, and he's got a long, like a dress, like a woman. He's glittering up there, and hair, he said, and it's shimmering, and he's looking towards Brother Frisbee. And she said, what is it? And his mother said, I didn't know what to do. It was Christ. He was looking over the whole thing. And the little boy told him, I saw him. He was up here, and he got a miracle, and that was God shimmering behind there. I could go on and tell about a young girl that got healed, and when she did, she fell down completely and went in a vision of Christ, and the Lord showed her just exactly what had happened, and she was crippled in her back and her arms, and God healed her, and that was down in, of course, Monterey, somewhere over in there it happened. But now let's get down to the pictures. God is real. I could go to other cases of those lights being photographed, and somewhere in Turlock, they took the braces off over there, saw a light shining, and a woman run up there with a child, and it was healed. I think Buford was there, Don Stewart was there, different ones that was working there. Jerry Bernard, there was his father was there, saw the miracle. God is a God of miracles. And you people in that audience, Lord, heal, touch every one of them. And let me tell you another thing. When they all went out of Egypt, a type of going into heaven, there was not one feeble person among them till they got out there griping, complaining, and then they got in trouble. But when we go up just before the translation, everything will be healed, and then they will be changed and will be gone. Remember that. There will not be one feeble one, but God will do that just before the translation, and then it'll translate. God will give us a little secret there. It is beautiful. Now, those trees' reflection back and forth, it shows us with God. And Paul said, as from one to another, the gospel, look at that, as a mirror. Oh, it's beautiful. Then the next one, there's a meadow. There's a little meadow there, flowers at the other end, and it's beautiful. People believe. I wish I had time, but we're trying to get everything we can in here. Money cannot buy this. You cannot buy this with money, really. We have to go on with the gospel, because all the money in this world will not bring the anointing and power like you've just heard it. You go back over this sermon, you're going to find out God put it together. And I'll tell you what, as we turn, and some of the greatest catastrophics that this earth's going to see is 9/11 through there in 2000-something, because that 9/11 up there, I blended it in every which way I could, and he's doing it for a purpose. That is a wake-up call. And there's where the crumbling of everything is going to happen. The church could leave earlier, you could leave in there, but just take and watch that. And brother, you're going to see things. In fact, up in there won't be an eclipse like that for a whole 100 years if we stay on the earth, they said. And that's on up in there. People, the celestial is moving like I've never seen it before. It's getting ready for a horrific event, unexpected, sudden, mysterious things. Look at that little valley. Boy, that's really beautiful in there. Then at the end, here is the snow. Then behind there is a mist, but there's a great big rock. He's hidden. There's a rock of the ages. See him behind that biggest part of the tree on the left side, and then in there in the snow and so forth like that, there's a big rock back there. That's Jesus, the rock of the ages. Boy, we're living. If we could only, every one of you out there in that audience, I done a little fast, but if I could tell you any more, I would. I've had people, the miracles I had, and both traveling and in California has been incredible. Some of them will never be matched so far. Stay with anything I've had here and way beyond that. He is a God of miracles. Call unto me, I'll answer thee. He said that by whose stripes you were healed. Every one of you said you are healed. I'll tell you, God is great. He's coming down in the greatest way in these perilous times. We are now at the last 7 to 10 years where it's going to be brought out in the open, and we're turning the corners towards the great tribulation. And don't be deceived. The devil is deceiving them. They think they're running into the right church. Even the Pentecostal church looks like a harlot. You never see anything like it. Independent Pentecostals, all kinds of people, wake up, wake up, wake up, saith the Lord. It's a midnight cry. It's ready. Go ye out to meet him. In Matthew 24, 1 through 10, I believe it is, 25, 1 through 10. Anyway, it's about the foolish virgins up there at the midnight cry. We're at the midnight cry. The watch is on. Go ye out to meet him, and there we are. Now, I better quit right here. Lord, enlighten them. Let a new word of knowledge and divine love that you're beginning to start, and wisdom, guide, supply every need, Lord, like you did Paul. He did not go without. You was with him in everything, and you'll be with these people in everything. You supplied Abraham, and all of them down in Sodom couldn't do what Abraham could do. We're Abraham's seed, and we're going to get that blessing. And we're like Jacob, we're not going to turn loose until you kick us in the rear end. We're going to stay right there with you and wrestle you all night. We're going through this thing, and we're going to get into heaven. And brother, there ain't no such place as paradise, and the things that God's got, you couldn't do it if you had 100 trillion years to even count down what he's got. You're blessed in the audience, saith the Lord. Blessed art thou, for thou hast heard the word of the Lord, and I've used my servant even in a weak condition. As the Apostle Paul said, when I am weak, I am strong. The anointing, reach out, saith the Lord. Open up your heart. I will bless thee as been told. And many times, hear this over and over, and the blessing will come right out, and you will feel something that you have not felt before. For my hand is upon it, and it is the angel of the Lord that has brought this to my people. I am closer than ever to every one of you. Satan may think you I'm millions of miles. I can go nowhere. I can come from nowhere. He is a liar. I am God. Let every man be a liar. Let God be true. I don't come and go. I'm everywhere. I'm eternal. There is no time. Woo! Man, you can feel that power. Lord, just fall with fire. Wrap it up around them, and when they come down in front, they are healed and accept whatever they want, whatever is materialistic, whatever it is, spiritual. They are rich in God indeed, and you shall go from this day forward. God bless you. He is with you, and good night.
This has been a Capstone production from beautiful Phoenix, Arizona.